Good morning, everyone. Today we will do chapter number 3, which is A Tale of Two Mice. Mice is a plural form of mouse. So, this story is about two mouse and they were good friends. A mouse lived near a village. His home was a hole at the end of a field. So, this mouse lives in a village and his home was a hole at the end of a field. So if someone asks you where does mouse live, so you will answer mouse lives in a hole. So this mouse lives in a village and he lives in a hole. All day long he roamed around the field, nibbling at the grains of wheat that had fallen on the ground. Every day this mouse used to go here and there in the search of food. Rice, wheat, small grains are his foods. So here you can see the meaning of roamed means traveled about and nibbling means take a small bite. Sometimes he nibbled at the stalk and the root of plants left in the field after harvest. So here you can see that the mouse is having a grains which was left in the field by the farmer after the harvest. It was a very plain food, but the mouse was perfectly contented. Contented means like if you are very satisfied or very happy with something. So, though his food was very simple, but he was happy with what he is getting to eat. One day, a friend, another mouse, came on a visit from a nearby town. So one day, one of his friends came from a nearby town to his village. The village mouse offered his friend the best food that he could, grains of wheat together with the stalk and the root of plants left in the field after harvest. The mouse offered his friend the best food he got. He offered him a stem and the root that he collected from a farm field. The town mouse ate a little and then turned to his friend. The mouse from a town, he just had a little bite and then he turned to his friend and gave it to a mouse and said, "You lead a very hard life. There's nothing to eat but this kind of stuff." When his friend saw, he realized that his friend, who is living in a village, was having a very tough life because he hardly could manage some. He hardly managed to get anything to eat. Why don't you come with me and share the luxurious life that I live on? So his friend offered him to come with him and live a luxurious life. The village mouse liked the idea, and then two friends soon scampered away to the town. After his friend suggested him to come with him, and they will have a very good life in a town. So the mouse in a village, he liked his idea, and then they both left for a town. The town mouse led his friend to a room in a big house. The door was closed, so when they get there in a town, the village mouse saw that his house is quite big. The door was closed, but on a long table stood a real feast: bread, butter, nuts, potato, chips, and resin. Resin means like dried grapes. All in the center stood a block of cheese. So when he get there, his friend showed him a table which is full of good stuff. Like there is a good food all around the table. Eat, my friend, said the town mouse, and enjoy yourself. So his friend offered him all those foods, and he said, "This is all yours. You can eat whatever you like to eat." The village mouse had never seen such tempting food. So the village mouse had never seen such kind of food, because in village he only used to get grains and stock of plants and root. So they both starting to eat together. "How lucky you are," he told his friend. "Back home I live on a dry grains of wheat and stock and roots. Indeed my life is very hard." So um, after seeing too much food together, he said his friend that really he was having a very hard life there. He began to eat with a hearty appetite. So they both began to eat the food which was on the table. But then someone opened the door. Crick, crick. Crick, crick is a sound which, when we open the door, it will produce, generally, it produces a sound. The town mouse ran off to his hole with the village mouse at his heels. So, after hearing the alarm sound, the both mouse left quickly and ran in a hole just to save his life. The hole was so narrow that the two mice had to squeeze themselves to get in. The village mouse thought of his own hole back home. It was wide enough to let him slide down comfortably. Oh, how he missed his hole! Just then, the hole was quite small. They both had to squeeze themselves to enter the hole. After this, the village mouse started to comparing his house with his friend's house. And then, for the first time, he realized that his house was quite big. But the food was waiting. No, Sooner had the door been closed that the two mice began to eat again. So, after the door was closed, they both started to eat the food which was on the table. The village mouse has just begun to nibble at an almond when someone opened the door again. So, as the mouse started to eat almond, someone opened that door again. Someone had entered the room to take something out from the cupboard. So, someone just entered the room to take something out from the cupboard. So, they both were interrupted by someone. So, they just had to left the food and they had to run away. At this, two mice, truly frightened, and ran away and hid themselves. So at this point, they were too frightened. They ran towards the hole just to save their life. This happens several times. So whenever they go to eat, someone someone used to come and interrupt them. So this happened several times. By then, village mouse was starving. Like after seeing those hurtly appetite, the village mouse was quite hungry. And this thing kept happening. Sorry, beg pardon. These things happened repeatedly, too many times, of opening the doors and closing the doors. By then, the village mouse was too much, like too hungry. My dear friend, he told the town mouse, no doubt you have provided me with a wonderful feast, but I must leave you to enjoy it. The village mouse said to his friend that he doesn't want to have a food like this if he had to run for his life every time. So he just said his friend that I must leave you to enjoy it. All he want to live for a home. I would much rather live in my own hole and eat nothing but dry grains of wheat. At least there I will be safe and free to roam about as I please. With these words, the village mouse ran back to his home. He said, at least there back in home, he will be safe and no one will interrupt him. Like he get interrupted with someone again and again, and he had to run to save his life so many times. So he just said his friend that he will be very pleased in having a dry grains rather than having these meals. So the village mouse left for a village because he just realized that in village at least he was very safe, but in town he wasn't safe. So I have finished this chapter. So please go through this chapter once again, and now we will do think and answer. So, Tick the correct option. Which mouse roamed around the field all day long? So here we have option A, the village mouse, option B, the town mouse, option C, both A and B. So the correct answer is the village mouse. I have done one for you. Rest you will have to do it by your own. Moving further, B. Fill in the blanks. A mouse lived near a. So here you have to fill it with a correct word. So I have underlined this one. So here you can read a mouse lived near a village. So here we will have to fill village. So I have done one for you and then rest you will have to do it. C. Read the following statements carefully. Tell who said these words and to whom. You lead a very hard life. So here you will have to tell that who said this word to whom. So you led a very hard life. The town mouse ate a little and then turned to his friend. You led a very hard life, he said. So the town mouse said these words to his village mouse, to his friend who lives in a village. So here I have done one for you and then you will have to do it. D. Answer the following question. What did the village mouse eat in the field? So I have underlined this one. I have highlighted one for you. So you will have to write there. All day long, he roamed around the field, nibbling at the grains of wheat that had fallen on the ground. Sometimes he nibbled at the stalk and root of the plants left in the field after harvest. So, rest question and answer. Rest answer the following question. You will have to do it by your own. Vocabulary builder. A. Write a word from a list to form a compound words. Door plus bell, cell. So we will write doorbell. So this one I have done for you, and then you will have to do the rest. So I think I have finished this chapter. So please go through this chapter thoroughly and do all the exercises. Thank you and have a nice day.